Hello, everybody. I am going to, let's turn my volume up. I don't even know why it's turned off. Um, Hopefully everybody can hear me, seeing as how I have my volume turned off. Maybe I'll just leave it on and close Facebook because that's where I tend to get all of the sounds coming from my computer. I'm going to give everybody some time to come on. I am a little early. I'm like that by nature. Okay, so yeah, let me address the elephant in the room before everybody comes on. I'm in a different setting. I had to come back to work, so I didn't want to skip the broadcast, especially because I spent so much time promoting it. So I'm going to do it from you can probably hear that, can't you? I'm going to do it from the site of the day job because that's where I happen to be at the moment. But I did not forget my notes this month, so I got that. I'm going to give everybody some time here. I wish I had my audiobook because I'd continue listening to it. Right before I do a book discussion, I always like to reread everything and just to check. Okay. I'm not going to be on here long because I do have quite a few things to do here at the day job. So even if nobody comes on and you guys are watching it in like the playback, I'm still going to go through these questions and we can always talk about it in the comments. You can always inbox me, and I'm always down to talk about a book simply because these books are really good. There's somebody in the other room just slamming stuff. Kind of have to deal with it when you have that kind of stuff going on. Let me see here. Okay, so I'm just going to sit here. It's already been 2 minutes that I've been on here talking, but like I said, I got here a little early. It's 7:02. So yeah, I got here just a hair early, simply because that's what I like to do. Oh, look, somebody's in here. Hey, Tweet. Hi, Tweet. Hello. Hey, girl. Yep, I'm at the office. Still got a whole bunch of work to do. I see you're texting me. I'm looking at my phone now. I don't know. It's on a handbook somewhere. I don't know. I guess I should probably text you that back instead of saying it all out. But yeah, I don't know. I am at work. This is the conference room in the station. And I'm in here for now because shortly, probably 7:30ish. I hate to cut these short. I always like to be here an hour. But I have a lot of production work that needs to get done. So I'm going to have to skedaddle a little early. But this book was a good one. I know you probably didn't have time to read it, but when you get a chance, Allegedly by Tiffany D. Jackson is a shocking, suspenseful kind of crime drama. It's really, really good. I liked it. And I introduced quite a few other people to it and was like, yeah, just read it and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it. I actually got it from, hey, Red Lips. I got it from a book club that I'm a part of, like a bunch of us women that just share books. And I had never heard of it. And when I got it, I was like, OMG. Yeah, yeah, it's really good. I'm trying to send a text message at the same time that I'm trying to talk, and it's just, oh, so you did read it. Okay, good. All right, so I'm going to, I don't know why I'm getting all these random notifications all of a sudden. It's like the minute you turn, I get off of Facebook here, everything comes. All right, so, oh, look. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. And there's more than just you in here. That's cool. Um, let's see. Sometimes I can't see. In here for now, because can you hear me? That's hilarious. Sometimes I can't see the comments on the screen, but I can see them on my phone. It's so weird. So I guess I'm going to go to the pages and try and look at it there. If the screen gets acting a little funny, let me know, because I see something that maybe everybody can't see. Anyway, before the time gets away from me and before other people start coming in here, because there's other production work that has to be done. Y'all have no idea what goes on at a radio station when you think people are not on air. You have no idea. Oh, look, somebody's down there doing something. Who's sad? Who's down there sad in the comments? Why are you sad? Like, what's going on? Why are you sad? Good. I don't want you to play the video. I just want you to give me the comments. Nothing wants to let me see. Yes, I can see that. Yes, thank you. I can see that. Thanks. Okay. Somebody's looking at it. I don't know who, but all right, I'm going to get into it. I chose not to read allegedly, simply because I don't have time a lot to hold an actual book and, pick it up, put it down, that kind of stuff. So I listened to it on Audible. I've been saying for the longest that I absolutely love Audible, and I don't think that there's been a better invention. We'll get to Black Panther and stuff some other time, but I don't think that there's been a better invention than Audible for me as a bookie in a very long time. So I chose to listen to it. I did not get a physical book, although I know a lot of people did. I like to have someone read me a story. I like to hear voices. And the reader, Bonnie Turpin, she did an amazing job switching up voices, everything. And it was just a really good listen. I won't say a read. It was a really good listen. Now, my first impression of it was, and for those of you who didn't read it, who are watching this later on, allegedly is the story of a girl named Mary Addison who killed a 3-month-old baby when she was 9 years old, allegedly. And when I first started listening to it, I was like, oh my God, this has to be the saddest thing I think I've ever heard. This girl is really going through a lot, living in, she was in a group home at the time and away from, her mom. I did think the mom was a little bit of a nut job, though. I did think the mom was a little bit of a nut job. And it just kind of bothered me that the mother would blow in and blow out of her life. Just doing that because she kind of wanted, it was almost like Munchausen syndrome. She wanted the sympathy of having the daughter who had killed somebody, but she didn't want to be bothered really with the daughter who had killed somebody, if that makes sense. There was a whole nother dynamic going on between the mom and the daughter. When you get into the backstory, there's a whole different dynamic, and it was just a really odd relationship. The mother really kind of didn't see her as a daughter. She just saw her as an avenue for sympathy or for attention. That alone was a little startling, but it's true in today's society. I don't know what year this is set in, but one of the girls at the group home is always going on about Trey Songz. So I'm thinking that it must be somewhere current, because Trey Songz hasn't been out very long. Now, if you've ever seen the old movie, The Bad Seed, about the little girl named Rhoda, and my mother was an avid watcher of old movies, especially things that were black and white. So I've seen The Bad Seed a million times. That's kind of what they want you to kind of believe Mary is like a sweet little darling girl who just so happened to do something like this. But the more you get into the story, the more you start wondering whether Mary's mother was the one who actually killed this baby and had Mary take the fall for it, because she knew that she would go lighter on she knew that the judicial system would go lighter on a 9-year-old child as opposed to an adult woman. That was a little weird for me, simply because I thought to myself, how dare you make this baby take the fall for you? That was my initial thought. How dare you make your child take the fall for you, and you, who clearly present some signs of mental illness, have done this yourself. That was my initial thought. I held that thought through the whole thing. This chick's mom is nuts. However, I did notice little bits and peaks and pieces of Mary's behavior coming kind of to the forefront. And I started really wondering and questioning myself, well, did she do that? Or did she not do it? It was a roller coaster of emotions the whole entire time. And I think that's what made it such a great book. Now, Bonnie Turpin is the narrator also in a book called The Hate You Give, and I'm listening to that one now. And for some reason, I just can't get over her voice in Allegedly, so I'm going to have to take a minute because listening to her back to back tell me two different stories isn't really working for me. But Allegedly grips you in a way that you don't really like. A lot of people said they figured it out. Maybe because I was just hoping this girl didn't do this stuff. I don't know. I don't know what I was hoping. I was hoping that the mom was going to eventually get found out, because it wasn't fair for her to be in this situation. She started off at 9 in what she called baby jail, which I guess is like some real intense juvenile justice kind of system. And she was let out to go to a group home at 15. She was getting ready to turn 16, and she was hoping that somebody would celebrate her birthday, but she didn't think they would, seeing as how, she was in a group home, and group homes don't necessarily do that. The thing was, she was living a different life outside of the group home. In the group home, she was mute, never talking, stayed to herself, even though the other girls were messing with her and trashing her stuff. But outside the group home, she had to do some volunteering at a rest home. And she had a little boyfriend and, had a real nice little productive life, even though she shouldn't have. And you really kind of see that through her having this double life, she gets herself into a little bit of trouble that sadly happens to a lot of teenage girls in this kind of predicament and situation, where she ended up pregnant. And the guy, he was living in a group home, she's living in a group home. So now what are we going to do with this baby? He's older than she is, but he's still on paper, she's on paper. And no, you don't get to keep your baby when you live in a group home and you're a ward of the state. That just doesn't happen. This book did change the way I looked at, the foster care system and juvenile justice and group homes. I don't know what I thought people were doing in group homes. I was not expecting bullying and fighting to the magnitude that they were doing it in Allegedly. I knew that sometimes, you put a bunch of girls together, or you put a bunch of kids together that are not family, you're going to have, even family, you're going to have some type of, discord. I just never in a million years thought that it was going to be like this. And sadly, I'm guaranteeing that it's probably true for other children who are in the system and wards of the state. I guarantee you somebody somewhere is living that life. I'm sorry, I have my notes over here. Initially, my next question was, did you think she was innocent or guilty? I thought that Mary, and caution, this whole entire discussion is going to be spoiler filled. I thought Mary was innocent. Not even gonna lie. I was buying it hook, line, and sinker until she got into it with, what was her name? I think she was just calling her New Girl. Until she got into it with New Girl. And I kind of got a different side of Mary from that. And when she was talking to Alyssa's mother, the little girl she killed's mother, and wanted the mother to take her baby kind of like in exchange. And I thought to myself, let me find out this crazy girl done killed this baby. That was the first time I thought it, and that was well on into the book. Totally thought that she was innocent the whole time. And when those last words were read, my face about hit the floor. I had never in my life thought that it was going to come down to it like that. Didn't think that we were going to get some type of confession out of her. I totally thought it was going to be the mom. I was hoping it was going to be the mom and that Mary could get out and live her life with her baby and her boyfriend. And then, even though I know in this kind of book, people cannot be skipping off into the sunset, I thought that's what was going to happen, especially, seeing as how she was reading Push, AKA Precious, and Precious kind of ended up with, hey, let me just grab my kids and go on about my business. I thought that she was going to be okay. And I got played. I got plumb played. Let me tell you what I did, though. Once I finished the book, I hopped onto a discussion board where a lot of us were talking about it, and I just did a big old rant in disbelief. And then I hopped on over to Twitter and literally was tweeting Tiffany D. Jackson, the author of the book, like, hey girl, what's up with this cliffhanger? Do we get a sequel? Were you setting me up for something? I still need to know who Mary's parents is, because there's a little T in here that says she might not be the daughter of the mom. Who her daddy? Where did she get this baby from? Because we think she had her at home, but did you really? Like, I got questions. I'm gonna need those answered. And Tiffany hit us with the good old, yeah, there's not going to be a sequel. It is what it is. What? I promise you, I about lost it. Could not believe she said no sequel to this book. None whatsoever. No sequel to Allegedly. My feelings was hurt. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I can see in my mind's eye that there is such an avenue for, I think I can't see all the comments that are coming in. There was such an avenue for a second book, and I feel like I got played. But it wasn't just me. It was a whole lot of us in there who really feel like, oh, hey, people leaving little likes and things. I can't see everything on the screen. Somebody's left an angry face. Okay. You mad, bro? But I really feel like I got played a lot. Like, how could you do that to me, girl? And people thought I was playing when I said that I was going to jump in Tiffany D. Jackson's mentions and on Twitter and kind of hound her. I think they thought I was playing. I was not. I was not here to play at all. I needed closure. So somewhere in there, she did let us all know that, and I think I even trolled all the way back down her Twitter feed. I scrolled all the way down in there so you really not gonna give us a sequel? That's really what you doing out here in these streets? And she pretty much was like, yep. And you know what? Kudos to her, because that is some really good writing. My friend Mel from Shop Talk with Mel says kudos all the time. Kudos to her, because that was some really good writing. However, I felt like it went, how when you go up on a roller coaster, you tick, tick, tick all the way to the top. I feel like it ticked us all the way to the top and then was just like, yep, and left us hanging there like, okay, so wait, what are we doing? You did what? That's how I felt when the book was over. Like somebody had just ripped out or cut off the last 5 minutes of audio of the book and just did not give me an explanation. I need answers, Tiffany. And she just hit me up on Instagram, commenting under one of my pictures like, hey, enjoy yourself tonight. I was like, no, come on over, fam. You owe us a couple, 2, 3 explanations. And I'm not mad at her. She's got a new book coming out. She's moved on with everything, but I'm still stuck on Mary Addison. So you killed a 3-month-old baby. That's what you did? Oh, okay, girl. If you have not read the book, and I've completely spoiled it for you, because I've said everything that there is almost. I'm gonna get to some other stuff. If you have not read the book, even though I'm tattletelling it all, please read it, listen to it, whatever. Because just like I'm telling you things, there are things in there that you are not going to see coming. I have down here, what are your thoughts on Mary's mother and the death of the baby brother? That was the thing that really made me think Mary's mama did it. Because Mary had a little brother who died from SIDS, allegedly. And, you know, it's kind of easy for me to see how, you know what, the mom needed the attention, so she had this dead baby. And then now there's another baby who's died on her watch, roughly around the same age. Maybe the mom did do this. I don't know what to think about Mary's little brother. And that's why I'm saying I still feel like Tiffany D. Jackson owes me a couple, 2, 3 answers. Hey, girl, still feel like she owes me some answers because I want to know what happened to Ray Jr. I need to know, where did Mary really come from? Because Mary suspects her father is white. And she says she doesn't really look like her mother, but sometimes she can see her in her. And okay, you hang around with somebody long enough, you'll pick up characteristics of them. So that's why I'm just like, I don't know. I need to really get to the bottom of that, because her mother swears up and down that this is her biological child. And I kind of think she stole her on the low. Kind of think she stole her. Now, here's the other thing. Since there was not a sequel, a lot of us have been, those of us who had read the book before, a lot of us have been thinking that we should just come up with our own fan ending. Like, you know, there's constantly fan fiction and things like that that people are doing all over everywhere. And we were thinking, you know, maybe we'll come up with something. At the end of it, though, she's trying to get Alyssa's mother, what was her name, Melissa? I think so. She's trying to get Melissa to take Bean, who is the child that she's carrying. She's heavily pregnant. She hid it for a little while in the beginning, but honey, the woman at the group home kept pregnancy tests on lock, and she was just like, yeah, here, I'm going to need you to get on that. And they found out she was pregnant. She had to tell the boyfriend. The boyfriend kind of eventually found out what was going on and about her past. He did not know about her past in the beginning. He just thought she was living in the group home probably because she had like a bad family or something. No, she was living there because she killed a baby, allegedly. And she used that word so freely during the movie that I really thought that girl was innocent. And you know what I did? In the group, when we were all talking about it, somebody posted that gif of Tyra Banks during an America's Next Top Model when she was cussing out that girl. I think the girl's name was Tiffany or something like that. She was cussing around saying, we were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. I was like, that is the most perfect gif ever, because I was rooting for that girl. I wanted her to get better. She had done all this amazing stuff trying to take her SATs. She wanted to move on with her life. She wanted to become something. And here you is out here murdering folk for real. After that, I was like, well, I guess they should just go ahead and take your baby, because I don't trust you with that one either. Even though I don't think she would do it to her own child. I think that she just has some kind of wicked mind. There was a question someone asked that said, do you think she was a product of her environment, or do you think that she is actually like the child of the devil? I cannot call anybody the child of the devil. What I can say is, if there was an African-American version of the bad seed, she would be it. Because that girl had me the whole time thinking that she had not done this. I feel some type of way. I do. I feel a whole bunch of types of ways, because we're not getting a sequel, and because I feel like Mary Addison played me. She didn't just play me. She played a lot of people. And now I'm wondering, like, what becomes of her baby? What happens with the mother? What happens with this mysterious stepfather she doesn't even know? I got questions. I think this is the first book that has left me with more questions than answers. Well played, Tiffany Jackson. Well played. I think this is a good one. I'm looking forward to reading her next book. Monday is not coming. I've already been on here for 25 minutes, and I'm going to have to wrap it up soon because, of course, the good old day job does not quit. I got to warm this voice back up and get it in radio mode. Please stay tuned. I've got some interviews coming up next week with, I'm calling it Heartthrob Week. I usually do on the website blog posts and podcasts. Next week it's going to be probably way more podcasts than blog posts because I've got some bomb interviews lined up. Maybe if you stay around for the next couple seconds, I'll tell you. But yeah, we're going to be doing a poll to see what book to read next. I have not received any suggestions yet. So I think this next time we'll leave it open for everyone to make their own suggestions, and we'll just kind of go through those. I'm also toying with the fact or with the thought of having more than one book and discussion per month, simply because I think it's a long time to read allegedly and then go into, one a month isn't kind of enough. I think I might need to do two. I don't know. We'll toss that around as well. Anybody out there who is watching this on the playback, I urge you to share it. Get on over to the website, look at a blog, listen to a podcast, something like that. I'm always good for talking. And share your thoughts in the comments because, trust me, I reply to everything. I'm always willing to have great conversation just because I'm a talkative person, hence the name, the Chatty Passenger, because I talk. Thanks, tweet. And I'm a lover of books. If you don't know anything about me, I am a lover of books, and I like to encourage other people to read. I'm refreshing comments because sometimes I can see them on my phone over there and not on the screen over here. So that's what I'm doing if you're wondering why I'm looking around. Okay, so I've dilly-dallied and talked enough about the book. I feel like it was good. Please get it. Even if I've told you too much about it, please get it because I guarantee you I've left some stuff out. Guaranteed. Okay, so let's get on to what I'm doing next week. Next week on the website, like I said, I'm going to be having podcasts every day, probably short ones. There is a concert coming up next Thursday in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, which is a stone's throw from here. And it's called the 90s Block Party. And it's featuring Genuine, 112, Next, Guy, and Jagged Edge. And I'm going to have the men from that tour on the show next week, in the podcast next week. I've got quite a few of them, and Genuine lets us in on some really juicy information, so you guys are hearing it first. He's going to let me in on some juicy information. I got some stuff I want to talk to him about. So those are going to be on the podcast page for the website next week. It's Heartthrob Week. We're doing all of this juicy stuff, Heartthrob Week, for next week. Make sure you are following the page, liking the page, going to the website, follow me on all social media. It's always at Chatty Passenger because I like to talk. And it's generally the same profile picture that you see here. My face, red lips, cheese, smile. So yeah, next week it's Heartthrob Week. We got all the men of got the men from the 90s Block Party tour coming on the show. And I'm telling you, if you grew up listening to that kind of music, or you were, of age and out partying during the time when those groups were first coming out and they had all that good music, you are in for a treat. Next week, Heartthrob Week on chattypassenger.com. Of course, I'll be dropping snippets and promotions on this page, so make sure you like it. And another thing, let me tell y'all something. You can go ahead and rate the page, If there's content you like, if there's something you want me to change, go ahead, send me an email. If there's more things that you would like to see, send me an inbox about it. I'm always willing to do more fun things. And next month, oh my God, next month, the Chatty Passenger turns 1 year old. And for the birthday, I've got some serious goodness getting ready to pop off. I've been on this live now for 29 minutes and 54 seconds, and I need to get back to work. I do apologize for ending this so briefly. However, like I said, leave me messages in the comments because I'm always down to talk about this book. Allegedly is probably one of my favorite works of fiction. It's at the very top of my list for crime, drama, and it did have some funny parts, but it's at the very top of my list for crime books and suspense. And I don't even really like crime all like that. I can do, a little John Grisham every now and then, but this one right here tops everything. Allegedly is great. The author is African-American female. I'm always down to support a sister. Wakanda forever. Okay, so all right, everybody, this has been Lavetta Jenkins, the Chatty Passenger, for Let's Talk About This book club discussion of Allegedly by Tiffany D. Jackson. Hopefully I will see you all in the comments after the video and we'll talk about it some more. Bye. Good night. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you.